the president of El Salvador went on Tucker Carlson. That sounds great. Let's check it out.
We just finished up a long and legitimately interesting conversation with the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. We talked to him about the immigration crisis from his perspective, which of course is different from our perspective. But the surprise was his perspective isn't that different.
Wow. I can't believe it. The far-right president is a far-right president. Ooh.
He pointed out again and again in our conversation, the mass movement of poor, desperate people north in search of a better life isn't good for anyone. It hurts all countries involved, including his. Watch this.
It doesn't hurt the US, actually. It benefits the US. It also doesn't hurt Guatemala because people immigrate, right? And then they send money back to their country. That essentially is them injecting more money into the local economy than what they would be doing if they were actually working there. So, like at the very worst, rather, it's neutral for both countries. They're both wrong. Obviously, they're both wrong. They're far-right morons.
Mr. President, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tucker, for inviting me.
So there are
Shut up.
An estimated 2 million Salvadorans living in the United States.
Maybe a little more.
Maybe more, and more coming now.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people have moved from this country to the U.S.?
Well, it's obvious. I mean, our country has failed to provide two basic things, which are the two main drivers of immigration, which is the lack of economic opportunity and the lack of security.
Only opportunity, right? Nothing else is important. All you need is opportunity, and then you shall be free.
I mean, most people doesn't want to leave their country.
Right.
They like their culture, they like their food, they like their weather. I mean, it's their country. They have their family members here, their friends. Most people leave their country because of two main reasons, and those are the two main reasons. And if you add up the civil war we had in the 80s, well, that was the main driver at the beginning. And then you have people, that have cousins over there, and then the cousin says, "Oh, come here, and you'll find a job here." And there's relative security based on what you have over there and what you have here. And so those are the main drivers of immigration. Our country has failed to provide security and economic opportunity, so people leave.
So, but if the richest country in the world says, if you cross over the border, we will give you free healthcare, free education, all these benefits.
Does it say that? I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
That's a draw, isn't it?
Of course, it's an incentive. I mean, everything is.
It's an incentive. Like every single country in the world. Like, are they supposed to just exclude kids from education?
And everything in life is pros and cons, right?
Yes.
So you have, for immigration, you have a con that probably you don't know the language, or you have to, the journey is a difficult one.
Wait, I'm guessing that Tucker is thinking like, oh, so they have kids in the US who then get citizenship for being born in the US. And he thinks that's wrong. I guarantee you that's what Tucker's thinking about.
You may die in the journey, but if in the end you will receive a lot of things, of course, the pros go up and the cons go down. So it depends. It's an incentive game here. And if, for example, if here in El Salvador we have better jobs and better security, it's less of an incentive. And you can see it in the numbers. We haven't changed the country 180 degrees in 2 years. In 1 year and 9 months, we have been in government, of course. But if you see the numbers 2 years ago, and you see the numbers now, immigration from El Salvador has gone down. And it's a couple of reasons. But one of the reasons is that we have improved security by 75%. I mean, the homicide rate has gone down by 75%, and the violent crimes have gone down by 75%. And economic opportunities are a little better than what they were before, 2 years ago. And there's a little more hope here that the future is going to be better. So that lowers the numbers. That's why you have caravans of 10,000 people going out of Honduras, and you don't have any caravans going out from El Salvador. But 2 years ago, El Salvador was bigger than Honduras in immigration. So you have...
It's actually because he's basically militarized everything. Basically physically preventing it, not because things have changed massively in 2 years. Literally nothing has changed.
You have incentives and drivers here, like I told you before, economic opportunities and security, and you have incentives over there. What you will find at the border, and what you will find inside, and with law enforcement over there.
Losing energetic, risk-taking people is obviously bad for your country. You want to keep people like that here. Do you resent the fact that the United States has offered all these incentives for people to leave your country and go there?
No, I've never resent that, but I just think that for a country, it's not profitable to get the people out. First, it's immoral. I mean, you need to provide for your people, right? That's the moral issue. But you also have an economic issue. If you send your hardworking people and your talented people and people that want to work and want to risk it just to go and work, you want to keep them here because those will be the drivers of your economy. You don't want them there.
So this guy's like basically saying that everyone who doesn't try to immigrate to the USA is a lazy, good-for-nothing loser.
There, So they could send a remittance, which would be a small portion of what they will earn, and will they produce.
Actually, whether like a Latin American politician is good or not, it's negatively correlated with their ability to speak English. If they speak English, they're worse. The less English they speak, the better they are.
You want them to produce here. But you're talking about problems that have been there, and not only in Salvador, but in a lot of countries in Latin America for the last 4 decades. And this immigration thing is just feeding on dependency on immigration on the countries that drive it. So it's not good for the United States, and it's not good for El Salvador. The best thing for both of us is to keep our people here and to provide for our people right here in our country. And that's what people here want.
Yes.
So at the end, it's not, I won't resent it, of course, but I think that it's better if we can keep our people here. That's our job, and morally, that's the thing we have to do.
Explain quickly, if you would, what you just said is not good for the United States to become dependent on immigration. What do you mean by that?
No. Latin American countries,
because Tucker is like so desperate to get him to say what he wants, but he hasn't quite done it yet. He's only talking about El Salvador, right? Tucker wants him to say that it's bad for the US too, but he hasn't bit yet. So I think on this one, he's going to clarify that he wasn't actually talking about the US.
If you don't provide for your people economic opportunities, if your economy is, people are going to leave. And they're going to go and try to find a rich country, right? They're not going to leave for Guatemala, right? They're going to try to go live for they want to go to the United States. So that makes these countries dependent on immigration, because what you become a net exporter of people. You're not exporting products or services, you're exporting people. So that makes your economy dependent on that, because then those people send money back to their home countries, which is not a good economic formula, but it makes the economies dependent on that. So when you keep these countries depending on that, the economy is like a vicious cycle. So it's bad for the United States because immigration will go up, and it's bad for our...
Why is it bad for the United States that immigration goes up?
Countries, because people leaving the country will go up as well. So it's bad for both of us.
Smart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there was no actual explanation.
Conversation went on and turned to MS-13. We're actually going to a prison tomorrow to interview MS-13 members here in...
MS-13. They're bringing back the Trump talking points from like fucking 5 years ago. Isn't the narrative supposed to be that immigrants are like the worst people, like the bad hombres, as Donald Trump elegantly put it? But they were both basically agreeing there that the immigrants from El Salvador are like the good people who the USA should want. So that doesn't really seem good for his argument there, does it? Doesn't really make much sense.